Okay, today we are going to run through a few different short programs that you can do at any time. Here's a little helper. So they're going to be about 5 minutes each with the purpose of disrupting any sitting. So I was reading a paper today after listening to a podcast on it that was looking at the beneficial effects of breaking up sitting, which I think we all have heard of, that sitting is the new smoking. But we can talk about why as we go. So the first one is going to be a little bit of floor stuff. 5 minutes sharing the mat with your friend. So just have to disable your friend, put them on their back, move them out of the way, and then the first one we're going to do, we might jump into a little bit of a side plank. Oh, thank you. Okay, so make some room, start your timer, if you can find your way there. Excuse me. So, 5 minutes, starting now. Side plank to begin with, you can be either on your knees or on your feet, and you're just trying to get as tired as you can, as quickly as you can. So, simple. While we're in this, well, this will actually be a very quick one, maybe 20 seconds, which we're coming up to now. And then, other side. So you can add in a little twist, reaching one arm underneath your body. A little thread the needle. Hey, it's a new shirt. And then onto your backs. And we're just going to do the top part of a sit-up. So not quite all the way to the ground. And just curling down, rolling down a little way, and then back up again. So this study was looking at the Hadza people, traditional people of Tanzania, one of the tribes who are still living traditionally, and found that this whole hunter-gatherer belief that people spend so much time moving that's why they have incredible levels of their health, their cholesterol, risk of heart disease, all that type of stuff. They found that they spent equal amounts of time sitting as current society. But their sitting was not in the couch, recliner, it was maybe squatting by a fire, so less luxuries, and that made all the difference because they were having a lot of activity in their muscles at the time. Okay, that's enough of those ones we're talking. So we're going to go into a front plank. You just move beside your mat if your mat has been commandeered. So again, you can be on your toes or you can be on your knees and just try to make it as short as you can by rocking forwards and backwards, moving an arm around, just challenging yourself. Keep all the pressure in your stomach, not in your back. If you get tired in your back, you have to rest. So I found that quite interesting that the hunter-gatherer people were spending as much time sitting as we typically do, but their levels of cholesterol and other cardiac risk factors were really good. The study also looked at the difference of breaking up sitting with just regularly moving around, which can be alternating between a standing desk and a regular sitting desk. Breaking up your hour to be taking frequent breaks to the bathroom, to the printer, all those things that sound really dull. See if they actually have a positive effect. Or, where are we up to? Our sit-ups. Or if doing moderate intensity physical activity, walking, exercises, would lead to better improvements. And they found that the more frequently people were able to move had the best impact on all their biomarkers. So that's their blood sugar, blood cholesterol, blood pressure, which is pretty big. So moving regularly had a bigger effect on those factors. Of course, it didn't improve their fitness. but it really did improve their risk factors towards cardiovascular disease. So that's why I'm making these little 5-minute exercise series. It will be a longer video, but you can pick and choose and just go to each 5-minute block. And that's a really good way, if you have been sitting for more than an hour, to throw in 5 minutes at a time. We are onto our plank. Or maybe side plank. Or you can really, this is just like breakdancing. So you do one exercise, and when you've had enough, you move on to another exercise and then another one, and you keep working your way through. You've got your timer set for 5 minutes. We've got 35 seconds to go. 5 minutes flies by. And then you can get back to what you were doing. And you've got lots of good blood flow to all the areas that need it, so you can concentrate and you can not feel guilty about that time spent sitting. And this is not necessarily any better than going and checking the mailbox or visiting a colleague or any of the above, but it is good for you. 5 more seconds. See, set a timer, it keeps you on track. Okay, so that's the first one, 5 minutes. You're allowed to catch your breath, and then we're going to go into another one. Okay, I'll just be beside the mat once again. I might show you from a slightly different angle. We're going to do a couple on our back. Off we go, 5 minutes. So, bridging, try to get your feet pretty close to the tips of your fingers, just coming up and down. And then we're going to go to one leg. And if you like, you can put your fingertips on the front of your hips, just to make sure that everything's staying level and you're not dropping or hitching, hiking, all of the above. So up and down with one leg. And then when you're ready, swapping legs. So a few years ago, we had our national conference for exercise physiology. We have it every 2 years, except this year. And it was all on intermittent exercise, disrupting sitting. So the sweet formula seems to be taking 250 steps every hour. Okay, so single leg bridging. Next time we're coming into a bridge, you're pushing against that top leg. So you're alternating your legs and pushing against that top leg. So 250 steps each hour works out to be 1 to 2 minutes every half an hour. And that seems to be one of the best ways to reduce your blood pressure, your blood cholesterol, and your blood sugars as far as exercise goes. Which is pretty powerful, because we want people to be doing some structured exercise. It's more enjoyable, it can be more sociable, lots of other reasons beyond blood test results. But if you have concerns about any of those areas, it's very easy to do. Let's come back to our bridging. So, into the bridge, hands on those bony bits at the front of your hips, just to keep those hips level, and then up and down. So some of these watches will remind you if you haven't moved enough for the hour. You can set reminders on your computer, on your phone, all sorts. You can use post-it notes, anything that you can think of to remind you. If you take a lot of phone calls, then try and do them standing up. If you have a standing desk, you don't have to move it every half an hour, 1 hour. That would be really annoying. But maybe spend half the day or a quarter of the day and then move it once or twice a day. Okay, we're going to come back into our bridge with resisted marching. Hope you're okay there. Don't let me disturb you. Hey? So, bridging, pushing against that top leg. Don't squash the dog. And that other leg. We have about 1.5 minutes of this little series. See, 2 exercises. Both of them on the ground. Change of posture from sitting. Relatively strenuous. Get some blood flow going, some circulation to your muscles and to your brain. All right. Got enough time for at least another round of each. So, bridging. And swapping legs. Oh, 15 seconds to go. 5 minutes goes very quickly, which is the whole idea. Up into that bridge, a little bit of resistance until the watch beeps. There it is. Okay. So those are 2 little rounds of 5 minutes. It's pretty easy. Sorry, it's annoying, isn't it? Catch your breath. See if you can reclaim your mat. It's not looking good. So, let's do one more. You need to put some clothes on. We're going to do a little kneeling stretch. So, I quite like the tall kneel posture. It's really good to look after to be aware of your hips and back and that relationship between your ribs and your pelvis in particular. So, you're leaning forward so you get a little stretch down the front of that bottom knee. And you're not allowed to lean your shoulders too far back because you'll feel pressure in your back. So you're just pushing your hips forward to get a stretch down the front of the knee that's on the ground, in front of that hip. You're holding that. While you're there, you can add in a little bit of a side bend. Oh, start the timer. And if it's not too inconvenient for your stretching partner, swapping legs. So, one knee on the ground, pushing your hips forward to get a stretch in the front of that hip with a grounded knee. And just holding that there for a few seconds, making sure you can feel the stretch down the front of that hip. And then hands on your head. Just going sideways over that front leg. And you should feel it opening up all down the front of that side. So we're picking on these muscles because this includes our hip flexors and they can get tight from sitting. Okay, we're going to go back to the other leg, but we're going to do the back of this leg. So you stretch it out in front of you and you're just leaning gently forward to get a stretch down the back of that leg. So the reason why they say sitting is the new smoking is because it allows your cardiovascular system to relax. And what smoking does is it stiffens up your blood vessels. So if you relax your system too much without stressing it regularly enough, you can lose that elasticity of your blood vessels, which is what exercise does really well. It just expands and relaxes your blood vessels and then they respond to that. So doing really high intensity, really vigorous exercise can be really nice to stress your blood vessels. Or just moving regularly. Keeping your blood flowing as opposed to letting it pooling around your ankles like on a long flight on an aeroplane, if people can remember what that's like. Okay, so we did the front of our hips, we've done the back of our thighs. We might go on to our groin muscles. So for this one, in a crouchy position, with your feet pretty close together and just pushing your elbows into the inside of your knees and your knees into the elbows. So you're trying to squeeze your knees together as you push them apart with your elbows. And then relax. We'll do a few of these ones, maybe 4 or 5. So trying to squeeze your knees together as you push your elbows into them. And relax. Go for a few more. And relax, so just about 5 seconds at a time. And relax. Go again. Okay. And there, into a nice downward dog position, and just dropping one heel towards the floor at a time, walking the dog. And this one's good for our calf muscles. So we have just over 1 minute left. So, once again, you're just going to have to borrow a bit of floor space. Okay, so one knee in front and just leaning your body towards that front knee. If you rub the tummy, they normally stay still for a little while. So just dropping your chest towards that knee and then back up again. And then let's do the other side. So that front knee roughly at 90 degrees and just lowering your chest up and down towards that front knee. So the first 2 5-minute programs were a bit more strenuous, but they don't have to be strenuous. Variety is good, and the exercises should make you feel good. So that's 5 minutes, but I'm just going to do one more. So then we can do one for our chest as well, because just if you are doing a lot of sitting, which we're trying to counteract with these programs, you can get quite tight through your chest muscles. So I'll show you what I like to do. I find this is quite a comfortable way to stretch the chest. Laying on your stomach, one arm down. Can't quite see, moving back a little bit, taking the dog with me. And just rolling onto one shoulder. And then the other shoulder. Taking your time. Just a gentle stretch. No need to get aggressive with stretching, trying to get things to relax. Okay, so there are a few ideas of things you can do to break up sitting. I really like the 7-minute workout. There's stacks of apps that you can use for that one. They're all free, and they've got other ones as well, like a 7-minute core routine and hips routine and other things too. So if you get bored of any one of them, you can move on to the next one. There's lots of apps out there for really brief bursts of exercise, and we've got some really short ones as well, some 2-minute exercise videos. They're all up on our YouTube channel, Great Ocean Road Health. Okay, so apologies for all the disruptions, but we pretty much got there. See you for the next one.